All right. We are now joined by Ryan Blaney, driver of the number 12 Body Armor Ford for Team Penske. Ryan, we know you have a lot going on with your foundation this weekend. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. There's it was Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and that's what our foundation works towards. That's our main focus. And this weekend we got a pretty neat promotional deal. It ended a couple weeks ago, but you could go online and donate to the Alzheimer's Association and nominate a loved one to be on the deck lid. And I think we ended up getting over 100 names for people, and I thought that was pretty neat. And then after the race tomorrow, we're going to cut that deck lid up and send those names out in the little pieces to the people who donated and who put a name of their loved one on there. So I thought that was pretty neat. It was nice for Body Armor to let us do that, and that really means a lot. But no, it was just do all a little bit we can with this foundation that we just started, and went to Lehigh Valley Hospital up in Pennsylvania earlier this week, and we're able to talk to some of their specialists and doctors and things like that about what they're doing, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot going on right now in that stuff. So any help we can do, I think is hopefully will go a long way.
That's great. Thank you, Ryan. If you have any questions, please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation. We'll get you a microphone.
Thanks.
We'll go right here. We'll go right to Tyler here.
I have two. First one, Bubba was talking this morning about playing Mario Kart. Are you any good at it? Are you better than him?
I don't play it.
You don't play Mario Kart?
No, not what they do. No, they get serious about it. I don't have that kind of cash flow to compete with them. They bet big money. I can't do that. But no, I haven't gotten in on that. So.
All right, and secondly, back to Daytona next week, the final Independence Day weekend race. You haven't raced this rules package at Daytona though, because it's different than February. What do you expect?
Yeah, it'll be different for sure. You got a little bit of a taste of it at Talladega. Obviously they're different kind of racetracks a little bit in their own way, but and I think teams will kind of go to Daytona with maybe a little bit different mindset of what they had at Talladega. I think we're going to a little bit and just try to figure it out. But I think it'll be a good race. I mean, heck, I thought Talladega was a pretty good race, and I think it's just going to get better as teams kind of understand this package. I thought you had a lot of mixed bags at Talladega. I thought some teams had it really dialed in a lot better than others, and I think teams are smart. They'll figure out the best way to approach that stuff after getting a race under their belt. So it should be a good one. I've always enjoyed that race. That night race, on that weekend's pretty neat. So, unfortunately, it's not going to go back there, but that's just kind of the way the schedule goes. But no, it should be a good one. That's one I look forward to every year.
Okay.
Holly Kane, the NASCAR Wire Service. Ryan, is it about the time that you guys maybe sense people driving a little bit more dynamically as we have, 2 months heading into what sets up the playoffs and really quite a tight competition, especially among, 14 through 19 in the point standings? Is this about the time of year where you guys kind of feel that on track?
I don't know about everybody else, but I race like it's the last race of the year every race, from race 1 to race 38. I don't really change the way I drive, depending on what part of the year it is. That's just me personally. Other people might do something different. But sometimes maybe people will make a little bit bolder moves. I think especially teams and the strategy deal, for maybe drivers who are close to that cutoff line or outside the cutoff line, to try to win the race or make big moves. So, and that's kind of sometimes, I think you saw it a lot last week at Sonoma with the way the stages are. Some teams who are close to that cutoff line, they wanted stage points. That was kind of their main thing because they knew it was easy to get them there, and they need them for the, that cutoff if they're close to it. So I think you'll see more of that, more of kind of people playing around with the stage points and maybe sacrificing track position to get, try to win the stage or run top 3 or 4 in the stage and then have to reset again and maybe try that all over again. So I think you'll see more of that. But as far as the racing stuff, we race hard all the time, and but there might be some more bold moves towards the end if you're close to that cutoff, trying to win the race or things like that.
We'll go to Bob in the back and then Tyler.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. You talked a little bit about the tradition of Daytona being on the July 4 weekend, and pretty much for your whole life, that race has been a night race, and all the nostalgia has been, well, you'd race in the morning and everybody would be at the beach for a holiday. Did you, when you have been there in the past, have you felt like it's a holiday weekend? Have you felt like it's been a tradition as much as maybe Darlington Labor Day and Coke 600 Memorial Day?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good tradition race. You know, marks pretty much the halfway point of your year, and you know, on July 4th weekend, I wouldn't say, you know, July 4th as a holiday. I wouldn't really put it as a holiday, but it is a special weekend. I think really anytime you're back to Daytona, I think it's two special weekends for the 500 and then the July race. There's just always something special about it, and going there as a kid twice a year, I really enjoyed it, and you kind of realize, you know, the differences between the two, and I just thought it was cool that you had both. You know, I think night racing around there is really cool. I think night racing anywhere is very neat under the lights, but you get to a place like that, it makes it that much more special. But yeah, like I said, I liked it, having it that weekend, but at the end of the day, it's just a weekend. You know, it's just another race. You know, you can move it to whatever date you want as long as we're going there. You know, you know you're going there for to a special, very special racetrack. But yeah, I always enjoyed it being on the fourth weekend of the fourth, but it's kind of the way it is now. I mean, yeah, that's going to be I mean, it's an important race. I think that's exciting. That's really exciting to having a cutoff race right before the playoffs, you know, at a speedway. I hope I'm in by a lot. Before I get to that race, I don't want to have to throw a Hail Mary and kind of put it up to fate over there, but it's going to make for a really good race. It's going to be exciting, you know, to watch, and teams who are just in or just outside the playoffs, that'll be neat. But personally, I'm hoping I'm way in by that point.
Tyler Burnett, MRN again. You went to Wrigley the other day. What went into the Kimbrell pose and the thought of that, and also were you a little nervous about it?
Yeah, my Craig Kimbrell pose he does, I thought was pretty neat. I'm a fan of his. I think he's a good pitcher, and he was making his. There was a thought he was going to start, but he didn't. He ended up closing. He pitched the ninth, but I was happy he finally pitched. And honestly, the field was never as loud as when he came on the field and he came in from the bullpen. So that was pretty cool to see. But I thought they'd get a kick out of it. You know, and he was playing against his old team. Atlanta was his old team, so that was neat. And yeah, the first pitch thing, I've never done that before at a major league field, ballpark, and I wasn't really as nervous. I feel like I can throw a ball. I'm hoping I can at least. If I can't, then I wouldn't have said yes to it. And I went third, and the guy before me completely screwed it up. So I was like, I got this. This is pretty easy. And it's just a matter of how hard I wanted to throw it. But I toned it down. You just want to get it to the plate. But it was good. That field is a lot of history. I'm not a Cubs fan really, but you got to respect, you know, history of ball fields and things like that. So it ended up being a great game. So that was a lot of fun. It was cool for you know, NBC and NASCAR and Body Armor for letting me do that. So.
Any final questions for Ryan? We'll go back down to Dustin there in the front.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Ryan, obviously Joe Gibbs Racing's been one of the top teams. You guys, your organization's been up there as well. When you're so close to the top, how difficult is it to take that next step? Also understanding there are a lot of other teams that have certainly made gains throughout the season. What's the challenge in trying to, I guess, in some sense, catch Gibbs or leapfrog them while trying to keep others at bay?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, we've been lucky this year to where, you know, our group, the Penske group, I think has easily been, you know, one of the top two teams. You know, I think it's been us and Gibbs, and that's shown. I think they're a little bit ahead of us right now, just a touch, but man, things change every week, every single week. You know, someone else can show speed, another team can show up. You know, there was a time where Hendrick was looking really strong, and I think they are still strong. Looking at practice, the first practice today, I thought their cars looked really good. Haas is going to come on pretty good here. So you just always stay on top of your game, you know, and we've been, you know, lucky that we've worked so hard in the offseason to try to be up towards the top, you know, teams from the get-go. I think we've done that, and we've been able to stay there. You know, this sport is a big circle. It's a big cycle of kind of teams rising to the top, and then other teams finding different things, and it just kind of keeps going round and round. And all that just goes back to hard work and dedication and great people to want to stay up towards the top and not being happy with where you are if you're fast at the time. You're always looking forward. A lot of people, I think, oh yeah, we've won. The 2's won a few races, 22's won a couple races, and you're like, all right, we're pretty good. We don't need to do anything, and that's how teams kind of catch up. So you're always kind of changing the way you approach things for the better. And I think that's what we do good over there. You're never satisfied with anything. You always got to keep working, just because your competition's always going to keep working, and you don't want them to catch up. And you already got a leg up from them. You just need to keep finding little things here and there that make a big difference. But
how is that different? I think back to last year, and I remember back at Kentucky where Truex won by a big margin.
Yep.
I think it was even you and Brad with second and third.
Yeah.
And you guys came in and said, we've made gains on this, even though you lost by 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I lost by 30 seconds last week, but I still thought we made gains on it. Yeah, that thing from last year, at that point of the season, I felt like we were struggling to run, top 5, and we were kind of stuck. All 3 of our cars were kind of stuck back in that 8th to 12th range, and when you make a big gain like that on a weekend, to where you don't win the race, you lose by a lot, but you run solid all day and get your cars better throughout the night. I think at that point we would never get better throughout the race. Everything we tried to our cars, it just wasn't working, and it was a big thing to progressively get better throughout the night, which was very encouraging from our group. So that's kind of the same thing. You can maybe not win the race, but you can find the positives in it and say, okay, we got a little bit better here, a little better here. So you just kind of keep adding on top of those. But yeah, you can get better and not dominate races. You kind of inch at it. It's so hard to make big gains now with all the rules so tight. So you just try to find little things that eventually will add up, you hope, and can really rise above all the other teams, other cars. Yeah.
We have time for one final question for Ryan. No? All right, Ryan. Thank you very much. Best of luck this weekend.